I'm your age, roughly,
Okay.
and I grew up loving the royal family, just like you did, no doubt. And over the last 20, 25 years, I sort of realised, particularly with the behaviour with the royals when Diana was killed, initially.
Yeah.
And essentially, this doesn't surprise me about Prince Andrew. There's probably a lot more stuff on him. I mean, the royal family were great friends with Jimmy Savile. I mean, it's there's this is very, very, very dark. It's this whole situation, it needs to be looked into more and more. There's definitely Epstein. I mean, I've been looking at the Epstein videos, everything. I've been watching Epstein's case now for nearly 9 years, and been reading lots of books and stuff. And essentially, there's no doubt about it. Jeffrey Epstein was, just like Jimmy Savile, a procurer of children for the rich and famous, but on a much, much larger scale. There's certainly, hundreds and hundreds of young children that were taken from third world countries that never returned.
Yeah.
There's 2 islands. One of the islands, that's not the island they talk about, but there's 2 islands. There's no doubt about it. There's satanic ritual abuse going on. I mean, it's really, really dark.
Well, you can say,
thing.
I mean, I don't think you can say there's no doubt about it. There's certainly some very bad things have been going on surrounding Jeffrey Epstein.
Well,
there's
you've
no
only
doubt.
got to look at
There's no doubt about that.
Mike,
But you can't. Hang on, Steve. You can't start talking about demonic rituals. You don't know anything about that. You're making that up.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
How do you know about
it?
it?
Yes, I do, actually.
How do you know
Let
about
me tell you how I know. I'll tell you how I know about it. I'll tell you how I know about it. If you look at the satellite pictures or helicopter pictures of his patio,
yes,
you can see the marble shapes that is satanic with the benches outside.
What are you talking about?
The island.
What? Come on. What do you mean satanic shapes?
Satanic ritual abuse.
Well,
SRA.
You can see. How can you see that from a satellite picture?
You're not a satellite picture. We're talking about drones. People have taken drones there recently.
Okay. So what would that look like then?
And you can,
so what does the satanic, statue
well,
look
there's
like?
huge stars. Well, I can't explain it because I'm not that, but articulate. But essentially, it's exactly what goes on.
Is
it's the
that
same
right?
shape.
Right. Well,
yes.
I don't. I mean, you can certainly have that view, Steve, but I don't think that qualifies as there is no doubt at all that this is going on. But listen, I appreciate your call. There's no question that all of this needs to be investigated, and it is being investigated by the FBI. And I'm sure that if they find any evidence of anything like that, we will soon hear about it.
I just feel, Mike, that we've all got a black sheep in the family. I've got one myself.
Have you?
Yes.
Can't be as bad as Prince Andrew, surely.
No, I wouldn't say it's a different type of thing, but we all have one that we're ashamed of that doesn't do what we say. We have children, we raise them, we expect them to follow certain things, and just one of them doesn't do it, and there's nothing we can do. And
well, yeah, but I mean, the difference
sorry.
between most of our families, Mary, and the royal family is that our families, generally speaking, are private individuals. They're not expected to behave perhaps in a particular way. But when you have the royal family representing this country, and don't forget, Prince Andrew goes around the world representing not only the royal family, but representing Britain, taking part in trade negotiations, talking to foreign governments, talking to communities, talking on behalf of the British people. You really don't want somebody who has been accused of the kinds of things he's been accused of doing that, do you?
No, you're quite right. I just feel very sorry for the rest of the royal family because they do, really, on the whole, a pretty good job for this country.
I mean, can you imagine the Queen yesterday? It's her 72nd wedding anniversary, right? And she has to basically oversee her son issuing a statement to the world's press, because it's the world that is doing this story, not just here in Britain, saying that basically, he's no longer fit for purpose.
I know, it's terribly sad. But, I knew a chap who used to be in the Guards, and he told me that when Prince Andrew, he was there when Prince Andrew was a boy, evidently he was an absolute nightmare. He used to do nothing but try to tease the guards on duty, and, they mustn't move, literally. He used to kick at them, spit at them, everything. And It was only Prince Philip who used to say, give him a clout if you want to.
I mean, he's never been a very popular figure, I have to say, Mary. And I mean, I covered the royal family for many, many years, particularly when I was working in America as a reporter, and whenever they would come to the United States, I would cover whatever it was that they were doing. Prince Edward wasn't much better. It was in the days before it all kind of kicked off with Charles and Diana. You used to have royal sort of cocktail parties. They would have royal receptions at the ambassador's residence in Washington or elsewhere, sometimes in New York. And basically the press would meet with the members of the royal family and chat away to them. And some of them were quite friendly and some of them were clearly not friendly. And I have to say, Andrew and Edward were the two of the most sort of truculent and unfriendly members of the royal family that I had the misfortune to ever come across.
Prince Andrew, the more that's unturned about him, I think the more the British public will really go off him in a big way.
I think that's already happened, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and I think it's going to get worse because he, I mean, we're finding out about all sorts of things now. He seems to be getting an awful lot of money for doing very little.
Yes,
but we could say that about quite a few of them. But
do
anyway,
you fear for the future of the royal family because of this?
Well, to be honest, Mike, I have to be honest with you.
You should.
I've never been a royalist. I've never been a fan of them in the first place.
Right.
But I do feel for the Queen because whatever she is, I think she's miserly and miserable. Whatever she is, she has always been completely professional in her role and kept her countenance. Never, ever has she brought shame upon the royalty. Ever,
no, she hasn't.
Herself.
She's kept her counsel as well, I would say.
She has. That's a better word.
Yes,
and she's kept it all these years, and I think I respect her for that. I have a great respect.
I
and
think
admiration
everybody
for her
does.
for that.
I think, but once you look beyond, beyond the Queen, it starts to look a bit fishy, doesn't it?
Well, yes, and I feel sorry for her because this is her son.
Yeah.
This is her son.
Her favourite son, apparently.
Yeah, well, they did a write-up about it a few years ago, and they said he was her favourite son. And she actually used to bath him. She never really bothered with her children. She handed it over to the nanny, which is what a lot of them do. But she actually spent a lot of time with him. But when he was a little boy and he went out into the stables, when the stablemen were looking after the horses, Andrew apparently took a stick and started hitting the horses' legs. So
really?
One of the stablemen, I'd love to meet him actually.
Who, Andrew?
A damn good drink. And no, not him.
Oh.
The man who I'm going to tell
Where
you
you getting
about.
this
One
story
of the
from?
stablemen. Out of the paper, one of the very popular tabloids.
Okay.
And apparently one of the stablemen, he got a bit fed up with this, so he chucked this little git into a pile of manure.
Oh, that's not very
nice. And I thought, well done you.
Okay.
Well done you. How dare that little so-and-so hit horse's legs.
You shouldn't do it.
Right? No.
All right.
So he got his comeuppance that day, didn't he?